Hello YouTube, this is Derson59 coming at you from recording from the bunker. Uh, just gonna do a season 6 episode 1 review of Game of Thrones. Just watched it. Pretty good. Going back from a previous video of mine, the review of episode 10 from season 5. Um, Quick little synopsis, which my first reaction to the first episode was pretty good. It was a good episode. It was decent. It kind of answered some questions, not a whole lot. Um, First off, we'll start off with Jon Snow. So they found Jon Snow and they brought him back inside, and now it's what are we gonna do? So far, all we know is Jon Snow is dead. Now, whether or not he's going to be alive or what, we are not sure yet. I'm sure that is going to be maybe a mid-season or even an end of the season reveal, I guess to say the least. Um, so that's okay. I mean, I kind of expected it, kind of expected not. It's a little different. I don't know how to feel about it too much, but uh, eventually it'll be really good. So that's one main thing. Secondly, we have let's see. Well, we'll take it from we have Sansa Stark escaping with Theon Greyjoy and coming to the uh, coming into play with some of Bolton's men, some of Ramsay's men. He sent off after them because they need Sansa Stark to have support of the North. If they don't have support of the North, then any other army they alluded to was the Lannisters going to be coming back and most likely taking them out. So they need the support of the North, so they need her. So they sent men after Ramsay sent men after her. They ended up catching up with them, and then Brienne of Tarth was able to come in and help save her, and then pledged her sword to her. So that was pretty cool. Um, she tried to in season 5, and of course it didn't work out too well for her. She's still being manipulated by Littlefinger, but now it's completely changed. So I'm pretty happy about that too. So good stuff. We'll see her eventually, I'm sure, too. So that's pretty cool. Along those lines, too, the Ramsays were talking, or the Boltons were talking about the North in that scene, and it is confirmed that Stannis is dead. So we know that Stannis is really dead. That Brienne of Tarth actually did fulfill her vow and did kill him. Um, I don't know if that'll be coming up later on in the series, but who knows? Like I said, this is just the first episode, so we'll see how the series progresses. Uh, And then, on top of that, let's see, what else do we have? Um, we have Arya Stark, who is now blind, but we saw that at the end of episode 10 of season 5. But we see that it's now not so much as a punishment as more of as a test. At least that's how I see it, how I perceive it is that it's more of a test. So we will see on that. Obviously, she's sitting there begging and stuff, and the girl comes and they do a little fight and stuff like that. And she says, "Well, we'll see you tomorrow too." So from my recollection, or not from my recollection, from my memory and what I'm thinking is that it is a test, and so we will see. They're just testing her and see how she's gonna work out. She has no sight, so she's gonna use her other senses. So I think that's it sounds uh, it sounds pretty legit that to be an assassin you need to actually have all of your senses on high alert to be an assassin. So I'm guessing that this is just kind of another training that she has to do. Now that she's being punished, but more so that it's you need to train to do this type of work. So we'll see from there. Besides that, we also have Jaime Lannister coming back with his daughter who died. So that was kind of interesting there. We also see the Prince of Dawn there as well, and then we see in the City of Dawn, we see the overthrow of the current king right now, Oberon's brother. So we see him get murdered and killed. So that's kind of interesting there. And so we see that whole uh, all the Donish people, or I guess everyone that lives there, are unhappy with the current guy. So we kind of see the mutiny and the overthrow of that government there. So that's pretty cool. So we'll see how that progresses. I'm sure there'll be maybe a battle or two there with Dawn and the Lannisters there in King's Landing. So that's pretty substantial there. Then we have a moment with Sansa and Jaime, and they talk about how they're going to take revenge on everybody. So that's pretty interesting there too. We finally see Marjorie, who's talking to the High Sparrow, and she knows that she's a sinner, and he questions her about her sins and stuff, but the ones that she is in there for, she doesn't see it as a problem, which, my personal opinion, I don't see it as a problem either, but she does know that she has sinned in the past, so she's not completely forgiven, so she understands that too as well. The High Sparrow does see that, and, he's kind of, he wants her to confess, but for the things that she might feel is wrong is not what he sees as wrong, so that'll be an interesting one right there. Um, Two, so we'll see another, almost another mutiny. It seems like there's mutiny all over the place, almost. But we'll see. We'll see on that. Mountain, of course, is back, obviously, and we didn't get to see him in the episode or anything like that, but I'm sure he's going to be an integral part, it seems like, throughout this season, I'm sure. So that would be pretty interesting there. Um, who else do we get to see? Oh, and then we see Daenerys getting captured by the Dothraki, and we find out that she gets taken into the camp, and they see or she's brought to meet the next call that's reigning right now, and she kind of, plays aloof for a little bit, plays stupid for a little bit, just kind of see where everybody's at, and how things are working, and to meet this new guy. So she does finally meet him, and she pretty much says, "Hey, I'm Khal Drogo's widow," this, that, and the other, and basically he, lets her go from being a prisoner, and says, that no man will ever touch you because you were called a Khal's widow, so no man's ever going to touch you again, or at least any Dothraki men are never going to touch you again, or anything like that. But the catch-22 on top of that is that she finds out that in their society, all the widows go to one place and live, of all the other calls that have been around and stuff like that. All of those widows live in one area, or in one part of their town, I'm guessing, or their encampment, or wherever they're at. So that'd be pretty cool to see that. That'll be coming up, I'm sure, later on in the season. We have Mormont searching for her with sellsword, so that'll be interesting to see. It was all right. I mean, it's okay. He still has the stone arm, or the stone men um, virus, I guess. Skin problem, basically. So he's still battling with that. It's getting progressively worse, obviously. So that'll be interesting to see on what's going to happen there. And then also on top of that, we have Tyrion Lannister and Varys in the city, and they're busy hatching a plan to kind of unroot the mutinous people that are in there, the I can't remember the faction's name, but that faction in there. Um, so they're trying to come up with a plan to kind of flush them out, flush out the leader. They need to find this leader so they can squash this little rebellion that's going on. So they're trying to hatch a plan together, which was very comical. It was really good. I like those two characters together. They both complement each other very, very well. So that's going to be really interesting to see the rest of the season. Kind of starting off from square one, um, lots of nice banter between the both of them. So it'll be pretty interesting to see, because they were in King's Landing and they were both they were both basically partners in crime there too. So that was pretty cool. So it'll be good to see them again start doing this. So we'll. It seems to be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting season. When they are in the city and they're walking, they find that the shipyard is completely burnt up. So that'll be interesting too when Cleese comes back. What's going to happen? And just to see how people in Marine are going to do, and if Cleese comes back or when she comes back, and how that's all going to work out. And then at the end of the episode, we end with Melisandre, I believe, or the Red Witch, and we see kind of the power of the Lord of Light. We see that she takes off her necklace that she's always been wearing and stuff like that, and she basically turns into a super old lady. So we can kind of see that type of power and the power of the Lord of Light, and that whole faction about how they can kind of prolong life for a while. It'll be interesting to see how far it goes, how deep this type of magic is. And they're trying to recruit her to help them out with Jon Snow because of the way everyone in the Night's Watch, the men and stuff that helped kill him, basically said, hey, he was a traitor because he let these the free folk from beyond the wall come and live on the land, and get away from the White Walkers, even though it was a bad decision on his part to let them do that, even though they've been fighting for years, and he's the only Lord Commander that ever had it happen, so he had to go. So that'll be interesting there. Like I said, and the people that are loyal to Jon Snow are trying to figure out, hey, we need to get out of this castle alive. And so they're trying to hatch a plan with that, which they bring in Melisandre, the Red Queen, or the Red Witch. So we'll see on whether or not she helps them or not. That'll be very interesting to see. I think so. That's my opinion. Of course, these are all just my opinions, but we'll see on how everything pans out. Bran has not been introduced yet to this season. I know he will be in this season, so it'll be interesting to see on what he's been doing and how far, what he's been up to this whole time and what's going on with all of that, and him and the Children of the Forest and the Three-Eyed Raven, the Old Man Tree from season 4, because basically that was it. He was only in season 4, and that was it. Season 5, he was a no-show. Which most of us knew about. I knew about it, reading stuff online and stuff. So the season seems to be, it seems to be moving along. The whole thing though with Jon Snow is a little bit, they're gonna probably try to push it out. So this is gonna be interesting to see, how long they keep this up and what really happens. But it seems like it'll be a pretty good season. Starks might get retribution. We don't know yet. So there's always that. But that is my review of Season 6, Episode 1 of Game of Thrones. Check back next Tuesday for the next episode, or the next review. I'll be doing the episodes, review episodes, releasing every Tuesday. So, along with maybe a couple other videos, we'll see throughout the week. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, please give a like, subscribe for more content like this. Also check out the channel to see what other content maybe you might like. Definitely like on those videos, and drop comments as well. They're always welcome. Again, this is Derson59 signing off from the bunker.